Hello everyone! This video lesson is called The American Musical, and today we are going to learn about musicals in America. Hope you enjoy. What is a musical? Musicals are a type of theater, so they are performed on a stage. Musicals are kind of like the cousins of plays and operas. Plays, operas, and musicals can sometimes be very similar, but they are also different. These days, most people know musicals from Disney movies like Frozen, or even from movies like The Greatest Showman. Actually, movie musicals began many decades ago. And over time, some movie musicals and stage musicals have even shared a story. For example, the stage production of Chicago was made into a movie musical, and the movie musical Frozen was made into a stage production. But musicals have a long history that began before movies, and they were even performed in ancient Greece. In ancient Greek theater, music was mostly for singing, and it was used to show the emotions of both the characters and the story being told. But why are musicals different? In musicals, the music and the song are the driving forces. This means that they are the power behind the story. The singing moves the story forward and helps to convey the emotion. Plays are different from musicals because plays are only spoken. Operas are different because they don't have dancing. However, these days, many shows are beginning to mix speaking, song, music, and dance. So now we can even find productions called plays with music. New York City is the heart of theater in America because of a little place called Broadway. Broadway is an area of Midtown and is around Times Square. Broadway began in the 1700s, when theaters were built for Shakespeare plays and for operas. But over time, more and more people began to come to New York City to create theater. Different shows and theater troupes began to create different types of theater, such as minstrel shows, burlesque, and vaudeville shows. By the 1850s, musicals were being performed, and after the 1920s, some of the most famous musicals and plays were written and performed. Fun fact, Times Square for a long time was a dangerous and unclean area of New York City. Many people think that Disney is the reason Times Square changed from being unclean to commercial. In New York City today, new musicals are being performed every year. While New York City is still the heart of American theater, musicals don't always happen on Broadway. In New York City, there are 3 levels: Broadway, Off-Broadway, and Off-Off-Broadway. Off-Broadway and Off-Off-Broadway shows happen in different areas of New York City and in different kinds of theaters. A Broadway theater must have 500 seats. In America, theater happens outside of New York City too, all over the country in regional and community theaters. Fun fact, many of the most popular shows today began in off-Broadway or regional theaters. It is very common for shows to start in a lower theater and transfer to Broadway if they are successful. There are 5 main types of musicals that you can see in America, but sometimes a musical seems to match more than one type. This is because artists use their creativity and inspirations to create musicals, and they like to experiment. The first musical we will look at are called book musicals. Book musicals are some of the most famous musicals and are shows where the story of the show is as important as the music and lyrics. There is a full plot that works with the music, and the script, or book, is usually written first. Book musicals focus on the story and the events happening in the story. Some very popular examples are the musicals Wicked, West Side Story, Hamilton, and Les Mis. The next type of musical is called a rock musical or a rock opera. A rock musical is like a book musical, but uses more modern music styles and lyrics to tell the story. In a rock musical, the music is used to help express the emotions of the characters. Sometimes the music is inspired or written by famous musicians. Some very popular examples are Spring Awakening, Little Shop of Horrors, Rent, and Next to Normal. The next type of musical we will look at is called a jukebox musical. Jukebox musicals are shows that use songs that already exist. The music of the show might be from one person or one group or many. The songs are combined to create an original story. Some examples are Mamma Mia, Rock of Ages, and American Idiot. Another type of musical is a revue. Revues are shows with a theme but a very weak story or no story. Revues are performed by many performers, with each performing their own work. So each song or number is only connected by the theme or concept, and there is no full story. Some famous examples include Smokey Joe's Cafe, Side by Sondheim, and Tomfoolery. Our last type of musical is called a concept musical. In concept musicals, there is an overall concept used throughout the story, and the concept is just as important as the story. Often, concept musicals are social commentary and were the result of experimentation in a work. Some famous examples include Avenue Q, Cabaret, Cats, and Company. If you want to learn more about musicals, here are some recommendations of great theater creators and productions for you to check out.